Hi guys, welcome to Opportunity Nanny. If it's your first time of stopping by, welcome, join this beautiful family, hit that subscribe button, like this video and watch to the end. It really helps us a lot. Also, you can tell us where you are watching from, which country you are watching from, just so that we can make the comment section interactive. Now today I'm bringing you fully funded PhD scholarship at Hong Kong, right? Now, Hong Kong is in China and is located in Asia, and this scholarship is for 2026-2027 session. So that's you're going to be starting next year. This scholarship covers everything, and it's quite easy to apply. Although it may be a bit tricky, so make sure you watch the end just to understand the application procedure. But before we jump into how to apply for this scholarship, I want to bring to your notice that Opportunity Nanny is now offering different services to aid your study abroad program. So we offer consultation services, we offer document review service, and we also aid in your study abroad application. If you need any of our services, please make sure that you contact us on the email or the phone number that is showing on your screen, or you can check the description box. You see a link to a Google form, fill it up, and then we can get in contact with you within 24 to 48 hours. Right? Thank you. Now let's dive right into this video. Now we are looking at Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme, right? And you can read about pursuing a PhD in Hong Kong. So if you're not sure about pursuing a PhD in Hong Kong, you can read about it. Read about living and studying in Hong Kong. You can learn from what other PhD students have said, just a lot of information about that. But you can do that on your own. Now let's go into the scholarship and what the scholarship is about, right? So when we click on Hong Kong PhD scholarship, we can see that this was established by the Research Grants Council of Hong Kong in 2009, and it aimed to attract the best and brightest students in the world to pursue their PhD studies in Hong Kong University. Now, what is the eligibility requirement? So what will make you eligible to apply for this scholarship? Now, candidates that are seeking admission as new full-time PhD students in the following 8 universities, irrespective of their country of origin, prior work experience, and ethnic background, should be eligible to apply. Now, you have to apply for one of these 8 universities. You can see them listed down. I'm going to be showing you how to go about that, right? And also, any country, you can apply from any country. There's no, this country cannot apply. You can apply if you are interested, right? Now, applicants should demonstrate outstanding qualities of academic performance, research ability, potentials, communication and interpersonal skills, and also leadership abilities. Now, what does this fellowship cover? Now, you're going to be getting an annual stipend of approximately $43,690 annually, and a conference and research related travel allowance of approximately $1,820 per year for each awardee for a period of up to 3 years, right? 400 PhD fellowship will be awarded in the 2026-2027 academic year. For awardees who need more than 3 years to complete their PhD degree, additional support may be provided by the chosen universities. So for details, please contact the university concerned directly. But you can see that they are really covering everything. And let me even wow you more. Some of the universities are also going to be offering accommodations for you, right? Not all, some, but I'm going to be showing you that later, right? So we can see what the scholarship covers. Now let's scroll down and see the selection panel, right? Now, for the selection panel, shortlisted applications subject to their areas of studies will be reviewed by one of the following 2 selection panels comprising experts in the relevant board areas. So the selection panels will be divided into two. Now we have the selection panel for those that are applying for courses in sciences, medicine, engineering, and technology. And we have another selection panel for humanities, social science, and business studies, right? Now, what is the selection criteria? While candidates' academic excellence is of primary consideration, the selection panels will take into account factors as follows: Now your academic excellence, research ability and potential, communication and interpersonal skills, and also leadership abilities. So these are some of the things that they are looking for, right? Now let's look at the application procedure. If you want to apply, how can we apply? Now let's click on the application procedure, right? Now when you're applying, the eligible candidate should first make an initial application online through the Hong Kong PhD Fellowship Scheme electronic system, right? So I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Why you need to make that initial application before you apply for the universities is that you need to obtain a reference number by 1st December 2025, right? So you have to apply. The deadline for applying for the Hong Kong PhD Fellowship Scheme electronic system in order to get a reference letter is 1st December 2025 at 12 noon Hong Kong time. But I advise you to do it early because some of the universities you may be applying for, the deadline fall around this time. Do you understand? Now, after you have done this, once you have gotten it, then you now submit application for your PhD admission to your desired universities. So you apply for this first before you now apply for your universities, right? Now you can choose up to 2 programs or departments in 1 or 2 universities for PhD study under the Hong Kong PhD Fellowship Scheme 2026-2027 session, right? And make sure that whatever university or course you're applying for, you comply with the admission requirements. So you have the admission requirements of the university. Don't apply for something that you know that the chances of them selecting you is very low. Do you understand? Now, as the deadline for application for some of the universities may immediately follow that of the initial application, you have to submit. I already told you, try your best to submit the initial application as early as possible to ensure that you have sufficient time to submit applications to universities. Now, how do you submit the applications to research grants? I told you earlier that I brought this scholarship early for you guys. It is going to be opening at 1st September 2025 at 12 noon. So you still have about a week to look at this scholarship, prepare for it, prepare the document, go and check the schools and see which school you want to apply for, see whether you want to study at in Hong Kong, see whether this is something you're interested in, and then apply for it, right? Now, before the application starts, they provided the guidance notes for completing the initial application. So we are going to be reading these guidance notes just so that before we even go and apply, we already have an understanding of what they want, right? Now, I already told you that after we are done with that, that's when you can now submit full application to proposed university. Now, you must bear in mind that you need the reference number you use to submit the application for the PhD funding. That's what you are going to be needing to apply for these universities. And you can see is 8 universities. You can pick 2 to apply for. And these are the deadline for all universities. So for City University of Hong Kong, it is 1st December 2025. The same goes for Hong Kong Baptist University. The same goes for Lingnan University. The same goes for Chinese University of Hong Kong. I think all of them, the deadline is 1st December. So you can see why you have to submit the application for the PhD funding scheme early on and on time, right? So you can pick either 2 programs in the same university or 2 different programs in different university and apply for it, right? So we already seen how we can apply. So let's scroll up. Right? So let's now submit an initial application. So if you want to submit, before we do that, let's scroll down and go and look at the guidance notes. So let's download guidance notes for completing the initial application. So it's going to be taking us to this PDF document, right? And they said it should be read by all applicants. So I'm going to be skimming it, but I will advise that you also read it in depth. It really helps when you read these things because it makes you have a better understanding of the scholarship, and there may be some tips on what they are looking for that you can project in your own application. Do you understand? So the Hong Kong PhD Fellowship Scheme, look at the scheme process. I already told you about the deadline, how to do the initial application, and different things, right? Now we have some instructions, right? In order to ensure consistency and fairness to all applicants, each applicant should only submit 1 initial application. So when you are submitting that initial application to the Hong Kong PhD scheme, that's the application you use to get your reference number that you use to apply to the university. you must only submit one initial application. So make sure you take your time when you are submitting it to ensure fairness to all applicants. Now, in the event that an applicant is found to have submitted more than one initial application, all applications submitted by the same applicant for this PhD funding will be disqualified, even if the applicant is nominated by a university to compete for the award. In case multiple initial applications have been made by mistake, the applicant is advised to contact the email immediately for assistance before the initial application deadline, right? So if you mistakenly submitted more than one, please contact this email immediately, because you don't want it to be that you already gotten the scholarship and they find out and everything is going to be disqualified. Do you understand? Now, in the initial application form, except for the field requiring the input of the applicant's name in Chinese if applicable, every item must be completed in English, right? Now, upon submission of the initial application form, a reference number will be automatically generated and assigned for each applicant. Now, an email confirmation stating the reference number and details of the login password will be sent to the email address of the applicant. You are strongly advised to save and or print out that email confirmation for future reference. You can screenshot it, you can save it, just so that, because that reference number is very important, right? And it must be quoted by the applicant in all correspondence with the RGC and in all applications to your chosen university grant committee funded university. So you are going to be needing it when you are applying for the other universities. That reference number, I said it earlier before, right? You also need to log in to the Hong Kong PhD listing using the reference number, right? If you decide to change the choice of your university, so maybe you want to change university choice and you need that reference number too. Now, you may make changes to the choice of university's department or program until the closing of the initial application deadline. However, only 2 choices that are saved on the. So what that means is that till the deadline for applying for the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme, you can still make changes to your universities that you picked. So if you picked universities and you want to change them, you can make changes to them, or you can change your courses. But once that December 1st deadline has reached, you cannot make changes to it again, right? Now, after completing an initial application, applicants should submit a full application to the chosen universities quoting your HKPFS reference number before the university deadline. Different universities have their own submission deadlines, and applicants are reminded to take note of them carefully, right? I already showed you where the information for the deadline is, but you can always click on this link to check it. Now, an initial application that is not followed up with a full application to the university will be considered void and it will not be processed further by the RGC. So if you only submit an application to the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme and you not complete application to the university, your application is going to be considered null. Now, applicants should ensure completeness, accuracy, and consistency in the data submitted to the RGC through the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme and the information submitted to individual universities. So you must make sure that the information you are submitting is accurate. Don't go and write one thing in the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme and write another thing to the university. Any incompleteness, inaccuracy, or inconsistency may lead to an application not being considered under the HKPFS, right? Now, information provided will be cross-checked with the information contained in applications submitted to the university for verification purposes. It's just to tell you that just make sure that your information is consistent, right? And you must make sure that you also meet the admission requirement and application requirement of the individual university concerned. There's a lot more information here. Now, they said usually, so what happens is that when you have made your application and you have gotten your reference number and you also submit to universities, it's the universities that are going to look at your application and scan it and say, okay, this person shows good promise. Let's nominate this person for this scholarship, right? So when they now nominate you for this scholarship, that's what they're telling you, that In the event that an applicant is nominated by 2 universities, so let's say you applied for 2 universities and both universities picked you and say, oh no, this person is a top applicant, let's nominate him for this scholarship, right? They will only process the nomination tendered by the university for which the applicant has indicated priority, and subsequent award of fellowship by the RGC will also be according to the indicated priority of the applicant. So the one I have indicated priority for is the one that they will process the nomination for. If the applicant selects 2 different programs within the same university and is nominated by the university shall have the discretion to decide on which program it supports the nomination. Now, your applicants are not selected for the award may be accepted by the university for regular PhD admission and may be offered postgraduate studentship or other funding supported by the university. So you can see that this scholarship is very good, because even if you are not awarded by the Hong Kong, if you are not nominated to be selected to get the award of the Hong Kong PhD fellowship, the university can decide that but this person application is still good. Let's give him admission and let's offer him a studentship, or let's offer him this funding. Now, the email account provided by the applicant in the initial application would be used by the RGC in future correspondence, including award of fellowship. So you should make sure that the email account you used at the beginning, you have access to it, because that's what they will use to give you information in the future, right? Now, if you have any questions about this, please make sure that you email the account here, quote your reference number, and also if you have any question about admission requirements, other universities information, make sure that you direct it to the university. The H university link is here, right? Now, this scholarship, the Hong Kong PhD fellowship, does not charge any application fee, although please remember, some of the universities you have to pay admission or processing fee, not all but some, right? Now, the RGC will only notify successful applicants of the fellowship award, and the result will be announced in May 2026 at this link here, right? And they're not going to be providing any other individual feedback. So those are just some of the information now you should know about this. So now let's go back to the universities, right? To now see, okay, so before we go back to universities, let's look for how to make an initial submission. So if you want to submit to the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme, you know you're supposed to submit to the electronic system, right? So you just click on submit initial application. Once you click on this link, it's going to take you here. So you know I told you that it is opening 1st September. So by the time you try 1st September at noon, you'll be able to access it and you can submit, make the initial submission, submit it, get your reference number. Remember, don't submit 2 times. And if you do mistake and submit 2 times, make sure you message them. But you can click here. Once it's 1st September 2025, it's going to open and then you can make your submission. Do you understand? Now let's go back to our participating universities just to see how to pick, right? Now, these are the universities. Some of them, you may see when you want to go and check out the PhD scholarship and the rest, you may see closed. The reason why it's not closed is that most of them, the application will be opening next month, right? So, but you still want to go there and check out their admission criteria, right? So you can pick, let's pick Hong Kong Baptist University. Let's click on okay, you even have the admission requirements here. You can click on the link to that. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, these are admission requirements for those that are seeking requirements to this university. I don't want to go into all of that because all of them have different requirements, but so you can just pick whichever university you want, pick about it, read it. Do they have your course of study? Do you miss the admission requirements? Do they have application fee? Can you pay the application fee? You can pick 2 universities or 1 university and 2 different courses. So that's all for the Hong Kong PhD fellowship scheme. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye guys.